GCW. So there was a report that came out from David Bixenspan that said GCW was actively opposing or getting in a legal battle with AEW. It's not a lawsuit, but it is to over the trademarks to Fight Forever with a video game. Apparently GCW ran an event in 2021 or 2020. It was called GCW Fight Forever, and it was like their 24-hour streams, and each of those had little sub names like of shows. It was like GCW Fight Forever, then whatever the show is. Of course, AEW Fight Forever has been in the works for years and years now, and it seems like there's every time it seems like they're a little bit closer to the release, there's something that pops up, like the game rating deal. They get through that, and now this thing's popping up. Apparently it's not a money thing. GCW is saying that they want to just know if they're able to use the show name still, but this thing, I saw this and I thought, as far as like copywriting, how ironic that Game Changer Wrestling, of all organizations, wants to hold something up and clear something up about copyright and IPs and infringement when they've been nothing but culture vultures and violators for years and years and years. When they're doing GCW presents Chopper City in the Ghetto.
Yep.
When I'm watching the Alley Cat on a graphic with real hot girl shit written on there.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here, man?
I don't know, man. But, I mean, it's like, it's definitely all there. Like, we've been talking about it. You've been talking about it particularly for years now. Like, I'm looking through the 2017 stuff right now, right? So, worst behavior.
Okay. Drake.
Hit him up 2018.
Tupac.
Yep. Live Fast, Die Young.
Rick Ross, a man involved in wrestling now.
The G Code.
Juvenile.
The Dynasty.
Jay-Z.
400 Degrees.
Juvenile again.
To Live and Die in LA.
Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, man. The Block is hot.
Various rappers from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Beg for Mercy.
50 Cent. G-Unit.
Like you mentioned, Chopper City in the Ghetto, right? You already did that. I Can't Feel My Face, right? Like that Wayne and Joel Santana mixtape.
Look, even mixtapes weren't saved, James. They had a show called 56 Nights.
Yep. Ready to Die 2020. Yeah, man. They have been doing this for a long, long, long time. Bring them out, T.I. Like The Last Resort. Like they have been doing it for years, and like
some people may ask me, Rich, why do you care about this stuff? Why? Because I am a rap artist. I am someone that is plugged into the rap culture, and I don't care whether a different organization was using like indie rock band names for their shows or anything. That's not my battle to fight on their behalf. But when we're talking about GCW doing this with this very specific aesthetic they're trying to market for, with who they use on their shows, the audience that they're doing, shows for, and then just having no kind of clue and not contributing anything to the culture. I'm sorry. A midnight show on WrestleMania weekend that you have to wait until midnight to go to attend is not enough. Sorry. Then you start thinking about, all right, if you're just like you're marketing all this stuff, and it's like people worked hard on those ideas and those concepts, and if it was me and I knew about this and I was like, a little further in the game than I am, and they were like, yeah, what they got, GCW One Lifetime, I sue the brakes off their ass. Like straight up. Well, GCW Dream Machine, not on my watch, partner. Won't be none of that. Like yo, because you're not like actively contributing to anything. Like you could reach out to some of these artists or whatever, and maybe they would like co-sign you, which would go a long way in doing this. Like you didn't put no money on BG's books to name your shit Chopper City in the Ghetto. Like what are you doing? Like
no. And I mean, in fact, like one of the funniest things I heard was that like BG just got out, and one of the first people to reach out to him was Birdman. It was like, why is Birdman finally going to give him all the money he owed him? No, okay, then what the fuck?
Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, and I sent a tweet out that got a lot of traction. Pretty much like 90% positive, and then 10% of people coming back and having different discussions and forums about it. And we famously on Twitter, like maybe like a year and a half ago, was myself, Adam Yuri, a couple other folks. I just decided to start taking GCW to task and putting out fake GCW show names and seeing who would know the difference between the fake ones and the real ones. And it was like a good 6 hours of that day. And I got messages from people at different outlets like the Ringer that work at the Ringer now saying, hey, we appreciate you saying something about this and stuff like that. And just like, yeah, man, I just don't think it is, I don't find the innocence in it. Personally, because this is something like these things, this is no different than Pat Boone re-singing Tutti Frutti. Like it's the same shit to me. Like I don't know, and the thing is, like, no, people aren't going to talk about this because people don't know why to be mad at something like this, or like the point.
And also, they don't care.
They don't care, and it's like, all right, if we don't talk about this shit, who will? Who's going to set this shit straight? And I'll talk to whoever wants to talk about it. Come and tell them to come see me, and I'll tell them why this is incorrect, should not fly. And if they want to keep doing this, there's ways they can do it, right? But they're just trafficking an aesthetic, and I think it's lame.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And like for me, it was one thing when it was just like, all right, we'll just name them after rap albums, and then it just kept going, and it's like, and their profile raises, and like, what's on those cards, what's in those crowds, is like, what are these names for exactly? This is odd. And it's like, okay, like, you see enough about cultural appropriation that it's like, all right, there is no. Like, even to me, to a certain extent, with cultural appropriation or whatever else, I have my good faith questions of like, what is on the perpetrator, right? Like, if you are a white person that grew up listening to Michael Jackson and Prince, and you make a song that sounds like Prince, and people get mad at you, I'm like, well, I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do with this white person that actually grew up listening to this person, right? Like, right. Michael Jackson and Prince are at a level to where like they are beyond like belonging to, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know what to do with that. But something like this is like, oh no, this is clear, this is cut and dry. Like this is a lot more fucking simple than worried about like what you think of, like, I don't know, Bruno Mars or Justin Timberlake or some shit like that. This is a lot more easier to spot out. Because like ultimately, like the thing that when I think of cultural appropriation is like, the problem isn't necessarily, to me personally, isn't necessarily like, in good faith anyway, what this person took influence from, and then the outsized level of success they're getting compared to other people that do something similar because they look different. Like, so I don't really hold it against people that do, like I mentioned, like that sort of thing. But when it's like, okay, all right, there's nothing there. You're just stealing names.
Right.
It's one thing when it's like influence. This is like just flat out just taking names just cause. And like it's become more and more blatant after you talked about it and had to just keep going with it. And then like you talk to someone like that has fucking shows named after them or named as a part of like, you know, their big yearly show like Joey Janela, and then Janela is something like, well, what are you supposed to do? And it's like, okay, I see that there actually is no like concern for this. This is a problem.
Right. I've seen people say, you know, if they stop doing this, this will be the end of like, you know, the indies and stuff. That's not true at all. I think you can name things whatever you want to name them.
They can name
if
that
it's
shit
not been done.
Look, they could do that shit like Glate does and be like GCW version 5, version 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They could do that. That shit ain't gonna cause them to not be able to sell pay-per-views.
And for them to be so interested in using Fight Forever now, that stinks. And that is like, you know, when my conspiracy brain starts rolling, it's like, why are you wanting to hold up the AEW game? Mr. Brett Lauderdale, whose picture was Stephanie McMahon at times, you know, what's the deal here? Why don't you just steal another rap song and name it? I can give you one. It can be GCW 24 Hours to Live. How about that? GCW Last Day. GCW One Day.
GCW Day One.
GCW Day One. Look at that.
Right.
You can just steal another one. Since you have no problem stealing, do that. Shout out to Young Dro, Day One.
Right.
Datpimp.com. The conversation's full circle.
Yeah.
So
all right,
stupid.
so where do we go to next? Or
so
do you want
stupid.
some more on this?
Look, and hurry up and clear this so I can start making my goddamn money off the video games. GCW stopping bags out here. Jesus Christ.